princes do not have vampire teeth oozing cherry syrup, Max.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Max's Halloween or Ruby's Halloween? That is the question. We interrupt Aggie as a Bish to bring you the very first episode of my potential new commentary series, Max vs. Ruby. The series where I take episodes of Max and Ruby and determine who was more insufferable, Max or Ruby. Like many people, I used to hate Ruby as a kid. But after I've seen every single episode of Max and Ruby, I think Ruby is fine. She's not my favorite character, but she's certainly not as bad as the internet makes her out to be. If anything, I honestly think Max gets on my nerves more than Ruby. Yeah, that's why I said it. Is Ruby a perfect character? No. As long as she's not bullying Max for doing nothing wrong and just kind of minding her own business, I'm not going to hate on her. However, I have beef with this show because there is a certain episode that pisses me off. As a kid, I didn't mind it too much. However, watching it as an adult, it makes me angry. It is a talent when you can make an episode so bad that it legitimately makes me freaking angry. This episode made my blood boil. What episode is it? That episode is Max's Halloween. Now, if you watched Max and Ruby as a kid, you probably think, oh, I didn't remember this episode. I thought it was okay. Well, good for you. If you like this episode, more power to you. But me personally, I hate this episode with every fiber of my being. I hate it more than Aggie. Yes, that is how much I hate it. Honestly, I've seen no one on the internet giving this episode the criticism, the harsh review it rightfully deserves. If I'm going to start this series, I want to start with what I consider the worst episode of the show. This has got to be the most infuriating piece of animation I have ever watched. So, with Max vs. Ruby, it's going to be a little different from Aggie as a Bish. I'm going to go through this episode, and then by the end, I'm going to review Max's actions and Ruby's actions to determine who pisses me off more. And then I will sentence them to death. Nah, I'm kidding. So, without further ado, let's tear Max's Halloween a new one.
Now we are all ready for Halloween.
Yeah, because nothing says Halloween like a singular jack-o'-lantern in front of an undecorated house. Anyway, the episode begins with the kids getting ready to go trick-or-treating at Grandma's house. And Max wants to be a vampire. But Ruby wants him to be a little prince to go with her Cinderella costume.
Vampire! No, Max, that is too scary. I'm going to dress up like Cinderella, and you're going to be a little prince.
What is this bitch tripping about?
Okay, first of all, let's get the elephant out of the room. Ruby forcing Max to be a little prince. And it's probably the second most infuriating part for me. She doesn't ask Max if he wants to be a little prince. She just brings it on him, says, you're going to be a little prince. In this excited, happy tone while acting like his opinion is non-existent. We then cut to Ruby in her room getting her Halloween costume together, and it's literally 1 minute of her getting dressed. So, one of the biggest problems with this episode, if it's not pissing me off, it's boring. Like, seriously, Why do we need to see Ruby putting on makeup, putting on her dress, kissing a freaking napkin? This is not entertaining. I'll save the rest for later. Let's just try to move on.
Guess who I am?
A bish? No, wait, that's Aggie. Max is having fun being a vampire, and Ruby can't stand that and takes his set of vampire teeth and turns him into a little prince.
Little princes do not have vampire teeth oozing cherry syrup, Max. Little princes do not have fake hands either. Little princes wear red capes, Max. And they do what princesses tell them to do.
You just see Max so clearly and visibly unhappy. And Ruby doesn't care at all. And it's insufferable. Like, talk about a sociopath. People get on Max for being mischievous and sneaky. And heck, even I get on him for doing that sometimes. But it's no wonder he acts this way. He will do anything just to have any kind of freedom or fun, especially in his own home. It's next to impossible when he has a sister like Ruby being a fun cop all the time. This isn't the only episode where Ruby is selfish towards Max, but this is definitely one of the worst examples. You can make the argument that Ruby was just looking out for Grandma and the other trick-or-treaters, and is having other people's best interests at heart. Yes, in a lot of episodes, Ruby does do that. But in this episode, she doesn't have people's best interests at heart. It's not for Max's own good. All she cares about is that Max matches her costume and that she gets a bunch of treats. It's not about Max's happiness. It's not even about Grandma's happiness. It's about hers. It's all about Ruby. It's gosh darn Halloween. It's about being whatever you want. It's about spooky fun. Halloween is supposed to be scary. Vampires aren't too scary. It's literally one of the most basic, classic Halloween costumes. And yet you're trying to censor it. Like, who do you think you are? Disney standards and practices?
Little princes wear red capes, Max.
What kind of prince wears a black cape?
What do you have against black capes, Ruby? Are you racist too? Seriously, can this bunny get any more narcissistic?
Ruby red. My favorite.
I spoke too soon, didn't I? Sorry for the rant/tangent. This would usually be the part where I would continue to talk about the episode's plot. However, not only is this episode infuriating as hell, but only a couple of things happens. Ruby bosses around Max for 2 minutes. Then she puts on a dress. Then we see Ruby being a control freak. Then we see her put on makeup. Then we see her being a control freak once again. And it's just nothing but pandering fluff. For example, let's go back to the very beginning of the episode. The scene where Max is forced to give Ruby his vampire teeth lasts for more seconds than it should. It's just awkward. Ruby putting Max in a prince costume isn't even the worst part. Just look at the costume itself. It's so lame. You just flip this cape around and give him a sword and that's it. Where's the crown, Ruby? The prince costume is just so plain and boring. No wonder he hates it. Ruby, do you not have an imagination? She gaslights Max, saying, "Ooh, Grandma doesn't want to be scared by a vampire." You act like Grandma's gonna have a heart attack because of Max's vampire costume. She's not that old and brittle, Ruby, you ageist.
Grandma doesn't want to be frightened by a vampire. A little prince is much better than a vampire.
Oh yeah, princes are much better than vampires because it's exactly what you want.
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it! Get on with it!
Louise rings the doorbell. Oh great, just we need 2 bunny bitches. And it's time to go trick-or-treating. Max is once again seen in his vampire getup, and you know what happens next? It's actually a surprising turn of events. Ruby finally realizes that Max has his heart set on being a vampire, and she apologizes for being so controlling. They go trick-or-treating to Grandma's house. Everyone compliments Max on his dope vampire costume, even though they didn't say dope in the 1950s. We see Grandma in the same costume, we have an everybody laughs ending, and everyone lives happily ever after with the lesson that Halloween is about being whatever. Nah, I'm just kidding. Unfortunately, things only go downhill once Louise comes into the picture. What actually happens is that Ruby sees that she can't have her way with Max, lets him be a vampire, but bullies, gaslights, and alienates him for the rest of the episode alongside Louise.
I'm going trick-or-treating to Grandma's house. Come on, Max.
Passive-aggressive much? I'm going trick-or-treating to Grandma's house. You can come if you want, I guess. Booting him. All because he wanted to be a freaking vampire. They will not shut up about how Max won't get any treats because he wanted to be happy. This is so toxic. Ruby and Louise are the perfect definition of toxic. This is why y'all need parents. Please don't pull that. They're only 7. Bullcrap. They're seriously trying to make it look like Max is in the wrong and being selfish. They're demonizing a 3-year-old for wanting to have fun. Like, did you want him to be a little prince that badly? And you know what the worst part is? If Ruby and Louise were both going as princesses, what was the point in forcing Max to be a prince? When your costumes already complement each other. So you should just leave Max the frick alone and let him be a freaking vampire. But they can't get any more toxic, right?
Nobody's wearing a scary costume except you, Max.
You might not get as many treats.
I don't remember asking you a guy.
Vampire! See?
Told you, Max. No, Max. You'll frighten Grandma with your vampire costume, and then there won't be any treats. You stand back there. I'll ring the bell.
You know what? Fuck you!
Fuck you, Ruby. Fuck you. And Louise, fuck you too. No, I don't care. I don't care if I don't usually swear on my channel. I only swear when it's absolutely necessary. And here it's absolutely necessary. Fuck these two, especially Ruby. No, I'm serious. I have had up to here with your bullshit. I have tolerated you this entire episode. I've seen you steal Max's vampire teeth. I have seen you be controlling. I have seen you not give a shit about how he feels when he is very visibly unhappy. But when you see that he refuses to put up with your bullcrap and just wants to be whatever he wants, you resort to bullying and guilt tripping and making him feel like a monster simply for wanting to be freaking happy and wanting to have scary fun on fucking Halloween. And Louise, shut the fuck up. No one asked you. Nobody asked for your opinion. Why do you always have to look at Max like there's something wrong with him? Why do you always have to join Ruby in belittling Max? This is not the first episode where you pull this shit either. Just, ooh! There has never been an episode where I've gotten this heated. Except the Losing Ice episode from We Bare Bears, but that's a video for another day. You think this is okay? Do you seriously think that Max not wanting to do what you want is that big of a problem? Do you seriously think that Grandma's going to have a fucking heart attack because she sees her grandson in a cute little vampire outfit? Are you implying that Max is the narcissist? I wouldn't be surprised if you thought that. Look, I'm sorry for the tangent, I'm sorry for all of this, but no, I gotta get this off my chest. Ruby, fuck you. Fuck you and Louise. I hope next Halloween you think twice before being a high and mighty bitch again. Man, that felt good. The ending is just so painful. They once again alienate Max by making him feel like a freak, not letting him ring the doorbell. She has to do it because he might find Grandma, and then there won't be any treats, and it will be all his fault somehow. Grandma opens the door. We see her in a vampire costume, making Max very happy. They roll their eyes, don't learn a lesson about their attitudes. Louise gets a whisker mustache, and the episode ends. I'm not joking. That's literally how the episode ends. Ruby and Louise were extremely unlikable in this episode, and were huge bitches for no reason, and they didn't learn a single goddamn thing. Ruby didn't learn the lesson about how Halloween is about expressing yourself. She doesn't apologize to Max. They still treat him like he did something wrong, because I guess that's funny. You know, instead of wasting all of that padding with the vampire teeth and the dress and the makeup and stuff, you could have used this to put in an apology and a lesson about Halloween. But, hey kids, if your little brother won't be what you want for Halloween, treat him like crap, and it will work out for everybody, I guess. What was the lesson? When you can't get people to do what you want, bitch about it, and treat them like shit for doing nothing wrong for the rest of the day as punishment for not getting your way? It's okay to be different? Well, apparently not, considering how Max was treated in this episode. Sorry, I got a little ranty there. It's just, I've hated this episode for a very long time, and I'm just glad to finally get all of this criticism off of my chest. But, yeah. It's time to wrap this up. So, let's recap the cases of Max and Ruby. Max's case. I think it's safe to say that Max did nothing wrong. As for Ruby's case, whoo boy, where do I start? The offenses against Ruby. Ruby forces Max to be a little prince to compliment her Halloween costume and started treating him like garbage and picking on him because she didn't get what she wants. Because she needed a prince so badly. If you want a prince so bad, you should have just asked Roger. She and Louise ostracized her 3-year-old brother because how dare the world not revolve around Ruby. They guilt trip and alienate Max all the way to Grandma's house, and then when they see that Grandma's completely unbothered by Max's vampire costume, they just roll their eyes and not learn a single goddamn thing. So, what's my verdict of who was more annoying in this episode? Yeah, I think you guys already know. It was Ruby. She acts completely controlling towards her brother and didn't learn anything. There was absolutely nothing wrong with Max wanting to be a vampire, but she just wanted to be a little pill and ruin Max's fun. And this is not the first, nor will it be the last time. This is an episode I never want to watch again, and I hate that my time as a kid was wasted with this episode. However, it does relate to a couple of core memories in regards to Halloween and Nick Jr. and stuff. So it has that going for it. But other than that, it's garbage. So on that note, Louise is a leech for enabling Ruby's toxic behavior because reasons, and of course, for ruining Max's fun and being a control freak. Ruby is a witch. And I sentenced her to going the rest of Halloween in a zombie princess costume and giving Max all of her treats.